5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please walk my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions, yeah.
Do you hear this right here? That is my manager letting me know that I don't have any sound. And you know what? It was an amazing intro. Oh, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. We can't do it this way. This bugger's out, man. This is out of here. Okay, there's too much good stuff going on. And look, I've got all these cool things to talk to you about. Not just topics, but amazing, amazing events that took place. Today was jam-packed. So we're gonna actually do this, okay? Check this out. I know you're bummed a little bit that we're gonna do this. Well, no, you're not. No, you're not. You love it and you know it. Okay? We are gonna go right back. We're gonna go right back to the beginning. I'm doing this because I can. Okay, this is my show. I can do this. So here we go. Watch this. This is gonna be great. No, it's not. It's gonna require me to go ahead and do a transition. Watch this. We're gonna go all the way back. Watch this. It's gonna be a whole bunch of fun. So crank up right now. Crank it up. Get your phones up to 11. Right? Get your sound system. If you're Joe Biden, he's Jimmy rigged, or one of his staff has Jimmy rigged a record player so that he can listen to this show live. Because we're going to talk about that guy. So crank it up real loud. You're going to enjoy this intro one more time because we got to come into it right. I'm telling you, this is a great show. This is going to be too much fun. So we're going to go ahead and do it. Check this out. Watch this. Watch. Yeah. Okay. Are you ready for this? Are you ready, guys? Because this is going to be amazing. Check this out. You ready to dance, boys and girls? Freaks and geeks. We're on the air.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please walk my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions, yeah.
All right, freaks and geeks, welcome to round 2 of PALEOCRAT Diaries. Today, September 26th, 2020, we are in the dead heat, right? The final stretch of election 2020, and we've got an amazing show for you today. A bunch of great topics. I'm going to focus heavily today on the new Jim Crow, okay? The new Jim Crow, and that is, ironically enough, anti-racism. Anti-racism doesn't mean what it used to mean. Like so many other things in this world, it just simply, the left has warped it, right? Reworked and retooled its own fancy definition, playing Mr. Potato Head with words. And then what they end up doing is they launch it on everybody and say, hey, look, you don't fit the definition that I just made up. We're going to talk about that. It's the college fix, the college fix edition of this show, because we're going to actually focus a great deal on how this plays itself out in colleges and universities all across the country. We have a whole bunch of really great articles. I pulled some today, too, from, let me see here, Campus Reform, College Fix, of course, Gateway Pundit. I'm doing this on purpose, to be honest, with Gateway Pundit, because I would love, I would love for Jim Hoft and Joe Hoft and them to listen to this show. I think they'd love it. I think they would absolutely love it. I think the whole staff, Cassandra Fairbanks, I think Cassandra Fairbanks would love this show. If you're listening right now and you know who I'm talking about, mention them and say, look, man, this guy talks about you guys all the time. He's always citing your stuff all the time, because I am. But before we get into any of that, we're going to talk about Sleepy Joe. We're going to talk about that guy, because he's absolutely terrible. He's absolutely terrible. It's just getting worse. It's getting worse every single day. It's embarrassing at this point. Even the people on the left are like, I don't know if this running out the clock plan is a good idea. Whoever thought it was? Whoever thought, oh yeah, hey Joe, how about you just run out the clock, buddy? Trump's not a winner. What a loser. Like, who thought of that? Fire that guy. Stat. He needs to go. Or she. It might be a lady, right? Might be. I don't want to take it away from him. But here's the thing. Before we even talk about that, two amazing things happened today. And one amazing thing is happening right now, and I can't be there. I'm proud of my boys, but I can't be there right now. Up in Bangor. Is it Bangor or Bangor? How would you pronounce that? It's in Michigan. I should know this. Partying hardy, man. Drinking and fighting and having fun. I wish I could be there, but today I had some amazing things happen. It's one of those things where you have obligations in your life, right? And these obligations just so happen to be mega dope. So it's you don't have to twist my arm on this one here, okay? And what that is, two things. First thing, 9 in the morning. 9 in the morning, my son, Wolfgang Phoenix, the most manly baby to ever be born, that guy was baptized in the Roman Catholic Church. Okay. It was awesome. We've had, let me think here. Athanasius and Samantha were baptized in the ordinary rite, right? The ordinary form of baptism. Then we had, let's see, Ambrose was the traditional baptism, Latin form, right? Then Teresa, same thing. Lucian, same thing. Wolfgang Phoenix, same thing. And it was beautiful. I love the Latin rite. I love Latin. My kids are learning it at school. Okay, that was something actually pretty cool today. Their school had a webathon. So that was another thing. You know, I got trying to support the school, right? I'll actually put this up. May as well do it right now. I actually have a cool screen. Check this out. This is actually kind of fun. Let's go ahead and get it on here so that I don't jump ahead. Look at this. Look at that. I worked this out. Okay, there's Father Sirico. There's Judge. That's the guy in the bow tie. He's the head of the altar boys. So he's the one that trains all of us and everything. He trained me how to be a thurifer. He trained the boys how to be acolytes and boat boys and whatnot. So a whole bunch of fun. But they had a webathon. They may actually still be going right now. It's at shwebathon.weebly.com. In fact, let me see if I can just go ahead and just dump that right in here. Okay, I'm going to put it in the comment section. Okay, so you got to watch the screen. Let's see if we can do this. Boom. Boom, right there. So, restream.io. I don't know if anybody can click on it, but you can see it. Well, I mean, look, it seems like it's shared all over the place. Okay, it's my first time ever doing that, okay, in real time. Feel pretty good about it. But they had a webathon. You know, but my kids are learning Latin at this school. They read classical literature. They memorize poetry in long form. I like Paul Revere's Ride, a 7-minute long poem that my son Ambrose memorized by heart, standing there like the kids, right? The sound of music at the end, their hands kind of clasped together. and just do. And it was amazing, right? They do that. They learn how to debate. They have to take the pro and con. They have to, let's say they're given a question. For example, did Beowulf die an honorable death? And you have to say 3 answers yes, 3 answers no. The teacher picks you out. There's times where when they're doing presentations, they're watching as they're doing it to make sure that they're not fidgeting. They're not doing little things like I do. I have this, I don't know what it is, nervous tick. I have my thumbnail on the tip of my nose. I don't know what that's all about, right? I don't do that when I do speeches, but I do it for some reason on the show. Don't know why. But they monitor that stuff, and they let them know so that they can work on it to master and hone in those skills like that. They do that. They learn chant, music theory, art theory, and of course all the reading, writing, and arithmetic, everything else that would go with public school. Okay, but they learn all those other things, and they have mass at the beginning of school. So it's an amazing place. And every Thursday they have Latin Mass, and we especially love that because we serve at the Latin Mass. We love it. And so when we found out that they would be willing to do the traditional form of baptism for our previous son, Lucian Ignatius, when we learned that, we were just overjoyed. So today was awesome. And because of the COVID restrictions in Michigan, you can't have, I think, 10 people for a baptism, including the family, the baby, the altar boy or boys. In this case, my son Athanasius did this one. Athan and Ambrose, they served for Lucian and the priest. And we had a proxy because the godmother, she wasn't able to be here. Not yet. She's on her way. Big fan of the show. Big supporter of Team Tiny Dancer and PALEOCRAT Diaries. So it was a beautiful time. I wasn't able to take any video footage. We have a video if you go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/PALEOCRAT. If you look in the category, I think it's both, it might be in PALEOCRAT Diaries or in the Team Tiny Dancer playlist, but you'll be able to see, if you've never seen it, you'll be able to see Father Robert Sirico. He was the one that did the baptism, and he walks through. We broke it down, edited it. It was wonderful. So that was at 9 o'clock in the morning. So already the morning was rocking, right? Just full steam ahead, pedal to the metal. Then we had out of town. My mom, my sister, the whole family came. Ate Mexican food. And the reason we did that is not just because of the baptism, but because my son Ambrose turned 12 years old today. And Ambrose, if you don't know about that guy, Ambrose is a really important dude to me. All my kids are super important to me. And they all play interesting parts, not only in my life, but in the story of our family, of Team Tiny Dancer. But he's the one that came up with that Team Tiny Dancer Forever. He's the kid, as my daughter is in a coma, right, the end of her life, and we're mourning and thinking, what are we going to do? He was the one that said, we're Team Tiny Dancer Forever, Papa. He's the guy that said, his favorite place in the whole world was church. He loved it more than any other place because he could pray, and he thought maybe God was calling him to be a priest. Because then he would go ahead and he'd be praying all the time and doing the Mass in his favorite place in all the world. He's an amazing dude. I'm very proud of him. And I'm excited to see what God's going to do in his life. Okay. I'm excited to see he's an artist. Okay. He loves drawing. In fact, what he wanted, 2 things. Well, there's a bunch. He loves books like Papa. He loves writing like Papa. He loves drawing like Papa. And but he does something a little different. He does flip books. And he wants to buy a flip book set. Thought it was amazing. It even has a little lamp so you can see through the paper. Match them up real well so it doesn't jump too far. Even has screws. That way the pad is really tight together. He follows that stuff on YouTube. When we strictly monitored, but he's good. And the other thing is he wants to play organ. It blew my mind when he brought it up. He originally brought up the idea that he wanted to play piano. But then when I mentioned it to him again, he said, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I'd kind of like to learn how to play the organ, because he figured there's more keys and you'd learn how to do the organ, right? So you would be able to, the way that it differs from a piano, right? More dynamic. You can do more, keep notes much longer, A lot required to it, right? So he wants to do that. So an amazing guy. So we had that. And as I said, now there's a party going on, but it's an hour and 10 minutes away from here. So I can't go to the party. But I said I'd be representing. So to all my boys, representing, very proud. So we have a great show for you. No further ado, okay? No further ado. We've got a great show. Let's just get right into it. I'm going to keep this up for a minute, okay? I'm going to keep this up. Actually, we'll go ahead. Let's do this one for a little bit, too, because I got a bunch of scenes now. So I can go ahead and do this, too. Let's see. Transition. All right. So, right out of the gate, okay, we're dealing with Mr. Nap Time for Sleepy Joe by Kristen Taylor. I actually tagged Kristen Taylor over on Twitter. I hope that he's watching right now. Nap Time for Sleepy Joe. Biden campaign calls lid after attending Ginsburg Memorial. Man, media getting concerned. And it's so true. It is so true that they're getting concerned. Here we go. A calendar posted a few days ago shows how many days Biden has gone dark before the day gets going in September. Now think about this. I mean, all of us probably wake up, we're waking up. If you're watching this, you woke up. We're kind of in a, we have this inability, unless we're in a coma or something of that nature. We're kind of these inevitable waker-uppers, right? We our eyes open, and we don't want to sometimes. We'd like to stay in bed, but eventually, right, the way that God made us, we just got to get out of bed. It's really tough, right? And the people who end up laying in bed all the time, right, the people who, let's say they're 900 pounds or something like that, they have to get themselves to that place. And most of the time, it's not by necessarily, just laying down in bed and eating food. It's not like they said, well, I just want to lay here and eat. I'm going to just get fat on the bed. Most of the time, they're actually walking, the all-you-can-eat buffet and stuff. And so there's a lot that goes into that. But we wake up. Joe Biden, he wakes up for a minute, and then he goes back to sleep. He says, I'm going back to the basement, folks. I'm done for the day. I'm through. And look at this. Look at the calendar. Alex Sears, this is every day so far in the month of September that the Biden campaign has called a full lid. I mean, all done for the day before noon. Look at this. That's stunning. Is that worse than Hillary? I feel like that's worse than Hillary. And look, man, I was one of the guys sitting there talking about Hillary's health. I got a lot of flack from people, and I'm like, look, don't you see, man? She's spitting up egg yolk into water on stage. Everybody around her is trying to hand her extra strength Ludens to help the cough. Here, take this. You're really rough. It's bad. She had, Mr. EpiPen doctor guy floating around all the time. I mean, it was bad. She did the shaky McShakes passing out on 9/11 into the Scooby van, getting thrown in like a bag of potatoes. All right? But this is unreal, man. He seems like he has certain days, like Tuesdays. Tuesdays, he's like, it's Tuesday again. I think today is a good day to stay inside. And Saturday. Yeah, Tuesdays and Saturdays, he's just staying on in. The AP on Friday, here's an excerpt. Biden's low-key campaign style. Do you hear how they phrase that? Low-key. Right? Like, oh, it's a campaign style to stay home all the time. No, it's not, man. It is not. You guys are being nice because you like him. He's your guy. You'd like to see him as president. You hate Donald Trump so much that you're willing to call what Joe Biden does by staying home in his basement and letting his wife go out, which is, by the way, think about this for a second. Think about this. That he lets his wife go and do all of the campaigning for him. Well, that's really weird, dude, because their argument is that he's trying to honor the whole COVID ordeal. That's a guy hiding behind his woman. You go out. You go. I mean, in honesty, though, by the sound of it, by this, and you got to wonder, you honest to goodness have to wonder, what is the reason behind Joe Biden's heavy breathing? I mean, the guy really sounds like he ran a marathon. Have you heard that? I'm not being rude. I'm saying, look, nobody sounds like that. Nobody sounds like that, man. So bad. The final stretch of a presidential campaign is typically a nonstop mix of travel, caffeine, and adrenaline. They misspelled Adderall. But as the worst pandemic in a century bears down, see, look at what they're doing. Look at what they're doing. Man. But as the worst pandemic, who believes this crap? Right now, who even thinks this way? Who thinks that way right now? People going back to work. People going to football games. People getting out and about, walking around. Even the people, apparently, even the people who are hardcore about the restrictions, even those people are getting their haircut. They can't help themselves. They're grown people. As it bears down on the U.S., Joe Biden has taken a lower key approach. That's a gentle way of saying, dude is sleeping. Dude is yawning. Oh, what is it? Are we still campaigning? Has the coup happened yet? Since his August 11th selection of California Senator Kamala Harris, I always want to say Kamala Harris as his running mate, Biden has had 22 days. Dang, son. Where he either didn't make public appearances, held only virtual fundraisers with teleprompters, or he ventured from his Delaware home solely for church, where he engaged in egregious mortal sin, probably by taking communion. And the sin of scandal. According to an Associated Press analysis of his schedules, he made 12 visits outside of Delaware during that period, including Friday when he went to Washington and paid respects to the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We talked about that on an episode. We talked about Ruth. During that same time, President Donald Trump had 24 trips that took him to 17 different states. Where's the surge, guys? Oh, it's probably right there with all the surges that you blamed all of the Trump supporters and protesters for creating that never happened. Go back and look. I dare you. Go back and look. Prove me wrong on this. Go back and look. Check out your local paper and read how many of those goons were simply echoing, like mockingbirds, authorities that said, the surge is coming, a bunch of Trump supporters went out in cars. It's going to overwhelm our system. No, it's not, man. It did not overwhelm anything. The world was overwhelmed by TikTok videos of very bored hospital staff. That's what happened. During that same time, so he took all these trips, hitting Florida, Georgia, Virginia. On Friday alone, think about that, man. I'm thinking, my day was real busy. Baptism, birthday, family coming over, show, getting prepared, making memes and stuff, doing my thing. This guy did rallies in Florida, Georgia, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. on Friday. Unbelievable. Biden's aides insist his approach is intentional. They swear to God. Oh, yeah, man. He's doing it on purpose. It's a good plan. Yeah, dude. That's like Wimp Lo on Kung Pao, right? It's my face to your fist style. That's the art of winning. It's the art of winning, man. That's dumber. That is dumber than Hillary's idea that Bill Clinton advised her strongly. Don't do this. Where she avoided flyover country. They're in the bag. They're in the bag. Let's see. Showcasing. Yeah, this is their excuse. That he's showcasing his respect for public health guidelines aimed at preventing the spread of the coronavirus. Dude, to be honest, he may have had it. That's strained breathing. He is wiped out, tired looking. Have you seen him in some of his videos? I mean, the guy's like hunched over, face flushed. He may have actually gotten coronavirus. Nobody knows. Oh, he's in good health. Just like his brain's fine. No, it's not, man. No, it's not. This is seriously elder abuse at this point. I feel badly for him in a way, but I think he invites it. I think he's willing to do it because he has that messianic thing going. Like, in fairness, like most people, in fact, pretty much all people who run for president have. So when people go, oh, Donald Trump thinks he's, just kind of messiah complex. He's a megalomaniac. Dude, presidential psychiatrists all say the same thing. They all are. You have to have that a little bit to even get to the point where you believe that you should be the most powerful man in the world. Oak dokes. Yeah, just unbelievable. The Texas Democratic Party chairman, Gilberto, what is that? Hinojosa? How would you pronounce that? Said not traveling because of the pandemic was a pretty lame excuse. Yeah, man, it really is. It's pretty bad. El stupido. Biden so far hasn't spent the night anywhere while campaigning. Look, it's obvious that they believe that they can steal this. They do. How can you not say that? They're like, oh, well, we don't want to do the ordinary way of doing things where you go and you vote. We're going to make up this new thing. We're going to push. We're going to extend the deadline weeks. We're going to ignore all of the problems that we see all over the place. Now there's been a bunch of these ballots in ditches. Oh, that's neat. A whole bunch that weren't counted. What? The guy, what's the dude's name? He created or invented email. What's that guy's name? He's complaining. Because it was, what, 1 million that weren't counted? Oh, he probably wouldn't have swung anything. Come on, man. Come on. This is a big steal. Ali Alexander's on it, though. He should watch the show. Ali Alexander, if you know that guy, I think it's just at Ali, A-L-I. Tweet him, tell him I dig his stuff, man. But he hasn't spent the night anywhere, flying back to Delaware to sleep at home every night. It's just very old, man. This cautious approach is not shared by Biden's wife. That's the whole thing. His wife's the doctor. Do we know yet what she's a doctor of? Did anybody figure that out yet? What's she the doctor of, man? Yeah, Morning Joe is like freaking out about it. The Trump people are all over the place knocking on doors, and Biden's people are nowhere. Because they don't think they have to, Joe. Man, I used to like that guy, by the way. He's like, what, 6'7"? The guy's a giant. He's like Comey. Have you ever seen that, by the way? Unbelievable. Now, let's get down here. Another MSNBC report concerns the Trump campaign is out hustling the Biden campaign. Yes, here's some misspellings there. They're out hustling them. Yeah. The comment by Trump-hating former AP reporter Ron Fournier, cited by Joe Scarborough and Casey Hunt. Casey. Yes, and it's part of a bigger issue. If the Joe Biden campaign... Oh, and he tagged him. Oh, okay. No. Ron did. Yeah, easy. Yeah. Doesn't start running like it's losing. It's gonna lose. Michigan, for one, is in peril. Better believe it. Better believe it, baby. Yeah. I found out today. I didn't bother me. I had signs out earlier. I got John James in the yard. I got Meyer in the yard. Taking over the treacherous Justin Amash. Taking over where he left. Thank the Lord for that. Yeah, they're saying, look, this whole run out the clock idea is crazy. And it totally is. And it ends up leaving Jill doing stuff like this. I mean, look at this. This just looks stupid. Does this not look really dumb to you guys? You know, it's like real folksy. But they're not really they're not with the folks anymore. At least she's trying. At least she's trying. I mean, she's like, look, you know, you might have coronavirus. Corona Joe. You might have coronavirus. But, and you may be struggling to breathe standing up or laying down. And you may have a hard time remembering your sentences and forgetting everything halfway through. But I can do it. And look, give her credit, man. Give her credit. It's no joke. She spoke to a handful of supporters in Orono, Maine, while her feeble husband, look at that, you got to read that. Jill Biden on Friday afternoon spoke to a handful of supporters in Maine while her feeble husband napped in his Delaware basement. oh my gosh, dude. Her feeble husband. I tell you, who wrote this one? Who wrote that? Christina Layla. Is Christina Layla, is she on Twitter? I don't know, man. I dig her stuff. Dr. Atlas breaks down the real COVID-19 numbers on the Ingram angle, rebukes CDC Director Dr. Redfield on his scare tactics. And you can see this is all playing in, man. This is all, it's getting revealed. Day by day. Line by line. Lie by lie. It's getting revealed. Okay. Trump coronavirus advisor Dr. Scott Atlas claims COVID-19 deaths, hospitalizations, and emergency room visits are down to levels not seen since the beginning of the crisis. No doubt about it. And yeah, CF in the comment section, you're absolutely right. Saying that Biden says, I don't feel good, so mama's going to campaign for me. Like my paper route when I was 9. Oh, man. Oh, boy. But see, I kind of miss it when Joe was back on the road, man. That's when we got those stories about, like, corn pop and stuff. The rusty blade. Remember that? Playing with his hair in the water and everything. This is real weird stuff, dude. And plus, I mean, I think part of the reason might be that they simply could not get him to stop doing that real sick junk with little girls and married women. He couldn't help himself. He could be in the news, and he was having to defend himself. Come on, man. You really thinking I did that? I mean, I know it looks that way. And then he goes out, and what does he do? One of the first things, playing with the girl's hair, sniffing it. Gross, dude. On Thursday, Dr. Atlas was forced to correct CDC Director Robert Redfield's inaccurate and partial truths on the current coronavirus pandemic. Look at this. Look at these numbers. Screenshot that to share with your friends. Look at this. We'll get it down there good. Screenshot that. 0 to 19, 99.997%. 20 to 49, 99.98%. That's kind of weird, actually. Well, no, it's not. You're like super, super close. 50 to 69, 99.5. Even if you're set. So look, this is on the plus side for Biden. He's going to make it. For Corona Joe. I swear, man. Look, have people been talking about that and speculating if maybe dude had coronavirus and that's why he's staying inside for a lengthy period of time? And why he's sleepy? Hashtag that, Corona Joe. 70 plus years of age, 94.6%. The odds are in your favor. Okay. Dr. Atlas, the Stanford radiologist turned White House advisor, accused the Center for Disease Control and Prevention Director Robert Redfield of misstating coronavirus data on Wednesday. Apparently, Redfield testified before the Senate on Wednesday, and he said 90% of the population remains susceptible. But Atlas replied saying, when you look at the CDC data state by state, much of that data is old. Some of it goes back to March or April before many of the states have the cases. He added that people also may have other forms of immunity to the virus beyond the kind that Redfield referred to. Totally true, man. Hospital deaths are down. Hospitalizations are down. Okay, so hospitalizations, down. Deaths, down. People going to the emergency room, down. All of that's good, man. It's all good. Now, this is where we enter into the world of the remainder of the show talking about the college fix, okay? Leaked inside documents show blueprint of radical left's rapid response plan to disrupt SCOTUS nomination and vote. It's more than that. And I know Jim Hoff knows that, right? That this is the way that they operate. Whenever they say, well, this person's a community organizer, this is what they mean, including, by the way, former President Obama, Captain Community Organizer, okay? I've known a number of community organizers. I know how this thing works. You got this thing called the SCOTUS Rapid Response Action Guide. Investigative journalist Millie Weaver released the far left blueprints for the far left's plans for protesting President Trump's Supreme Court pick. Okay. Actually, yeah, we're going to go straight to it. Look at this. I want to go through this, and I want you to understand that some of this, in fact, a lot of it is pretty good. They're highly organized people. They know what they're doing. They've been at this for a long time. But it goes to show, because I want you, after you're aware of this, I want you to remain alert. When you're reading the news, when you're on social media, and people are like, yo, man, I was just, I was really upset. I was walking down the street one day, and all of a sudden I saw a protest, and I decided to get in there. And I was chanting with them. Likelihood, basically like zero. Basically the opposite of the statistics of your likelihood to die of coronavirus. It's like the absolute inverse of that. Table of contents. Look at this. They break it down. It's amazing. I want you to seriously look at this for a second. Just check this out. You've got story of the moment, messaging, slogans, social media content, talking points. Plan your action, assemble your teams, confirm the basics, create action visuals, make a plan, prepare and practice. Each one of these is broken down, by the way. Each one. Promote and recruit. Action follow-up. That's, look, give it to them. Call to action. Post on social media. Calls to action. Debrief your action. That's remarkable. Now, I used to work, man. I used to work in this, for a guy named John Tomeke. And John Tomeke was the founder of New Jersey League of American Families. And we used to coordinate with people behind the scenes. We'd get faith leaders and conservatives, Republicans, libertarians, pro-life, you name it. Even some third-party folks. We worked with them. Okay, and we would get together and we'd have these meetings and this kind of stuff. That's what was out there. Okay, we would talk about that. But this is a real deal. Look at this. They talk about slogans. What's a slogan for? Having unified slogans. We can make fun all day long, and I do, of this is what democracy looks like, blah, blah, blah. Right? No justice, no peace. We know it, but that's the whole point. It's a jingle. Black Lives Matter. It's like a basketball game. Bum, 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 bum. They know how it works. They understand the part of the brain. Is it the Broca? What is it called? Is it the Broca? Is it the Broca part of the brain? The part that translates sound. Okay, or it kind of creates images from sound. I learned about this in a book called The Wizard of Ads. And in that book, he's talking about how, people say pictures are worth, what is it? Pictures are worth 1,000 words or something like that. A photo is worth 1,000 words. He says that's really not true because we're constantly seeing so many things. It's easy for that to get really confused, to get embedded. It has to be really strong for that to stay embedded, which is why if you see something really scary or you see something that's an accident of some kind, and pray for my buddy. 3 members of his family were in a really serious accident today. His name's Mark. He's a good guy. But you see that kind of thing and you remember. Okay? Or it's even hard to remember super joyous ones. But if I went like this, if I went da 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 da, I'm loving it. Right? You remember these jingles. That's why even shows like Morning Joe, a lot of these shows, they don't even have intros anymore. I like intros. I like longer ones with music, action and stuff, cinematic. But if you listen to stuff like Morning Joe, it's almost like a tinkle almost, like glass. But you can hear it, and if I'm in another room and I'm never around, we don't have TV. We cut that cable a long time ago, so I haven't seen it in a long time. But if I was over at somebody's house and had the misfortune of having to hear what was leading into Mika and Company, I would know what it was right away from that sound. So they know that these slogans work. They're super crappy. They're the worst. I mean, it's so annoying. But at the same time, we know what they're like. They have ideas for slogans. Justice for Breonna Taylor. Racial justice. Now this one's dumb. Economic relief. That doesn't work. Yeah. Green New Deal, Medicare for all. So they've got their stuff in here. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, this is dramatic, radical crap. This is all radical, man. They have a call to action spot, sample language for social media, hashtags, additional hashtags. They've got a graphic folder. Oh, look at that. Additional graphics from Move On. Additional graphics from Planned Parenthood Action Fund. Oh, look at that. Planned Parenthood Action Fund, that's because they know what's coming. Pro-lifers, look, when people tell me, pro-life people say they're not going to vote for Trump, I just want to just punch him in the chops and say, are you dumb, dude? Why do you think Planned Parenthood Action Fund, why do you think they're doing this? Why? Why do you think that one of the slogans for this is reproductive freedom? Why? Oh, I know why, because they're not dumb idiots. They know. They can read writing on the wall. Talking points. These are for the speakers to craft speeches, for writing press releases. Look, man, it trained people on this. Amazing. With voting already underway. Man, that's, boy. It should be left up to the American people to decide. Look at that sly maneuver, man. Look at that sly maneuver. Yeah, Supreme Court rulings shape our lives. Everything from abortion to segregation. Again, abortion right there. Transgender rights to climate change. Big money and politics to healthcare. See, this is the joke, man, is that they all believe in big money in politics. They do. It's like Boomer Girl going and voting for Biden. It's unacceptable and unjust to try to rush through a nomination in less than 40 days from the election. They didn't say, look, if that's true, then we should remove all of the votes that were in favor of gay marriage, for example, from people that were nominated in less than 40. And what an arbitrary number. Ain't that quaint? Because it's just shy of the amount of days that it took for Ruth Bader Ginsburg to get in. They had to do that. But people should call them on it and say, dude, really? It's less than a week more? Like, Plan your action. Assemble your team. Recruit lead. A police liaison and safety coordinator. with first aid materials, which, you know what? Journalists, I heard a journalist asking questions to police talking about a big rally and event that took place. And they're talking about it. And what was amazing was that, you know, because a lot of stuff happened there. And there was some people with pepper spray at this rally defending themselves, right? The boys know who they are. And the thing is that the journalists were just blown away. And obviously pretty ignorant of how self-defense works. They were like, yeah, but they had pepper spray. Isn't that like anticipating violence? So isn't that like you're violent? No. No more than having first aid materials or coordinates with volunteer medic to bring first aid materials is saying that, well, look, these people are bringing violence. And they're anticipating a clash. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But this isn't, for them, the difference is, for them, this isn't for self-defense. And they admit that. They admit that when you take a direct action, there's risk involved. And everybody has to accept that there's risk involved. Speakers, media coordinator, contact reporters and media outlets before and after the event. I'm telling you, man, this is super coordinated. And if people think that this is something that they just made up all of a sudden, and that this isn't the kind of thing that happens even on a college level, they're out of their mind. When you have people, what was it? Was it in Idaho? Gardner died, right? Suicide. And the DA there said, after listening to some folks from the community, that's what he's talking about, man. I saw this. I live in Grand Rapids. I went to a Grand Rapids City Commission meeting. And when we were there, I'm noticing all around group after group after group after group that was supporting stuff that's rooted in critical race theory, the kind of new Jim Crowe that's plaguing our nation and is being advanced by the left, unwittingly, maybe, to some degree. But I saw these people, and what was amazing was the consistency of the narrative and the consistency of the catchphrases. Money down, says a lot of those groups. Know what's up. They come in full force. It makes them look like it makes it appear as though they all just showed up. I was walking down the street and I thought, I think there's a city commission. I wonder what they're talking about today. No, not how it works. Make a plan for the day. Know your rights. ACLU. Kids in college, they need to know what the group FIRE to know their rights. Consult Sunrise Movement's Take Action Guide for more information about risk. Sunrise Movement, those are teens and young 20s, man. Those are teens and young 20s that they're talking about. Unbelievable. So it's unsurprising. It's unsurprising when you have so much pressure put on, not just pressure put on people to change their minds like the DA in Idaho. Because he did. He changed his mind from a collective pressure. That's a collective bargain. Hey, we're coming for you, champ. But also the kind of collective organizing that ends up resulting, let's see here, that ends up resulting in people getting hired or getting elected. Okay, you got all these people. Newt Gingrich brought it up. The amount of money that Soros and company and all those big groups that they're pumping into these people. They're making them stars. Social media knows how to manipulate this, just like they did with Black Lives Matter. It's what they did. Artificially implanted, man. Artificial. So Louisville man fires several shots at a line of police officers, injures 2 of them. He's charged with assault and wanton endangerment. Wanton? Yeah. Michelle Malkin, I love her, man. Hi, Reuters, be clowned clowns. Oh, Michelle, we need to talk. I'm serious. I've loved you for a long time. You're amazing. I do. Oh, man. Oh, she's amazing. Hi, Reuters, be clowned clowns. Here's slow-mo video of the alleged shooter whose shots rang out and struck at least 2 officers. Rewrite. Rewrite. Unbelievable. But they get in power. Like this. Louisville College cancels class after Breonna Taylor decision. Tells students to channel your feelings. You know, one way to channel feelings is to keep busy, man. You know, one way to not go loot and riot is to be in school. You know, it was something, a Protestant pastor named R.C. Sproul. He's passed now. I really enjoyed his stuff. Even to this day, I enjoyed his stuff when it came to philosophy. He has a great series on the consequence of ideas. I have it on VHS, so I can't really watch it right now. You know, but it's really good. But he talked about a sermon that he had done about Abraham. And in fact, I had a sermon by him about Abraham where he talked about this and was saying that when Abraham knew that he had to sacrifice Isaac and the day was approaching, what did he do the morning that it was all coming down? What did he do? What did he do? He went out early in the morning. What, did he saddle it up? He ended up chopping wood, getting all of the gear put together. Why? For the same reason that when my daughter died, I ran for my guitar up in my attic, slammed the door, rushed my friend out, said, "You gotta go, man. Go, go, go." And I grabbed that guitar and I wept and I played my heart out. That's how you're channeling your emotions. So to say, go home. Keep them busy. Boredom's bad, man. What's that phrase about the devil? And boredom. Just remarkable. They canceled classes. In a letter, President Susan Donovan, a real loon bird, announced that classes were canceled after 2 p.m. Wednesday and all day Thursday. It's double doozy. Double dumb. This decision came after, quote, hearing from many of our students of color and their allies. There it is. I'm telling you, Money Down says there were organizations, campus groups that show up and say, hey, you got to do this. And in consultation with faculty and student leadership, yeah, I'm telling you, man, these guys are all drinking the Alinsky Kool-Aid. All of them. The university stressed that regardless of how the courts handle the case, Breonna Taylor's death reminds us that as a society, we have so much more work to do to end systemic racism. They're conspiracy theorists. As part of this push, the president encouraged the white members of our Bellarmine community to educate yourselves on systemic racism, recognize your part in it, and work toward inclusion. Sue her! Sue her for discrimination. She's a freak, man. I'm sorry to flip out about this, but man, that's like the man-loathing lesbian at my alma mater. I love my alma mater, and I don't mean to be so rude about this, but she was the kind of lady that would go up to fraternities, to their frat houses with a megaphone, and should shout at them about rape. Why? Because statistically, no, she had no proof that any single person in there was that way. Oh, it didn't matter, man. Didn't matter, man. Targeting the boys. Go figure. Targeting the white guy. Go figure. Racist pieces of crap, man. Jim Crow loonbirds. I'm sorry for flipping out, but this is bogus. I dealt with this, man. I dealt with this stuff when I was in school. And you know what I learned? I learned that the majority of people, the majority of students, don't even agree with this. They do not agree with that. But they're afraid. They're afraid. I wasn't. I stood up to the leadership at the school at the time. So much, they passed out a white privilege checklist to the white people. Skipped over all the black people, which, by the way, made the black people in the class and the brown folks and the yellow folks, made them confused. Ain't that a thing? Of course it is, man. Of course it's a thing. And of course, you're right to vote for candidates who share your views about the fair and equitable treatment of all people, blah, 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 blah. Oh. Calm down, man. Yeah. Arcelia Peñalosa, thank you for the little angel. Thank you for that. Remind me of the angels on my shoulder. Saying, calm down, Jeremiah. Mandatory class at Idaho College tells students to list examples of white and male privilege. Sue them! Sue them for racial discrimination. Period. Period. White people still fall under civil rights. You can't say, well, I have a personal belief in systemic racism in our country, so I believe we can discriminate against white people and males. No. No. False, man. False. Take them on. It is time that we take them on and show them who they are. Put the mirror in front of their face. Venomous racists. Venomous racists. If you can't name an example of white privilege, quote, that in itself represents a privilege. Yep. Heads you win, tails I lose. Seems like a fair game. Justice! Are we... These people are the worst. A required course at an Idaho community college instructs students to identify privileges specific to men, whites, and members of the majority religion. How about we just say white, heterosexual, Christian males? It's amazing. It was only a couple years ago that people on the left said, oh, no. Nobody's attacking them. Nobody's going after them. Where do you get that idea from? I've been saying this, man, since like 2007. On TV and radio. I was called all sorts of names. Oh, you're a fearmonger, man. We don't care about that kind of stuff. Who's doing that to you? You feel like you're being targeted? Yeah, bro. Yeah, what do you think? What do you think, man? It's coming. It is coming. Get ready. I'm telling you, it ain't a joke no more. There will be a line where white Christian heterosexual males and women, because they're being lumped in now, and Asians and Hispanics, anyone who's passing, they're lining up, man. It's the retribalization of man. It's not good, by the way. That's not a good thing. That's like seeing sharks start to swarm, man. When students disputed the assumptions in the exercise and said other groups have their own privileges, the instructor and other students, quote, shamed him, so that it was a boy, in a sexist and racist way, while claiming their virtue signal points. This is according to a parent. Unsurprising. That kind of stuff happens all the time because a lot of these are like self and community styled classes. Very subjective, very narrative oriented. Tell us about yourself. How do you define yourself? We're gonna figure out, because if you define yourself by your qualities and characteristics and things like integrity or something that transcends race and culture, we're gonna really bring that back down. We're gonna put you in your neat little coloring box. While the student was able to express his complaints to the Dean of Student Affairs, the dean recommended he put up with the bias in the class and just try to finish. What do you say to this, man? I don't. You know what that's called? Listen and absorb. Listen and absorb. It's your turn maybe to just, be quiet. Shut your mouth and accept it. No, it's not. No. See, you're not understanding how this works. It works not based on, well, I see the color of your skin, you need to go over there. No. See, we got past that. That hasn't been around for a minute. Don't you dare bring that back. Don't you dare bring that back. You're going to see a whole new type of freedom rider. A whole new type. And they ain't going to be so peaceful. Like I said, man, straight up, you're going to see it. You're going to hear that and run. Beware. Don't be dumb, man. Don't play stupid games. Screw around and find out. Yeah, they claim that they don't single out or pick on any one group of people. If you divide white from male and male from Christian, then yes, that's true. But you kind of have like the Megazord. Or like what was it, man? The Megazord for Power Rangers. Voltron. I don't know which one, man. The one with the cars or the one with the animals. I like the animals better. But there's like the Megazord where you put all of these individual ones together and it creates this big Zord. Okay, that's what it is. Big robot thing. You control and guide. The introductory course on oral communications cited white male privilege as a fact rather than a hypothesis that could be debated. And this is the thing, is that a lot of people on the left in this new Jim Crow movement, these leftist Jim Crow people, they will say, look, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to talk to you because you're a racist. And they don't understand that they are begging the question. They're begging the question. Somebody says, I don't agree with that definition, man. I think your definition sucks. Your definition is garbage. Oh, but they don't debate that. Oh, no. Get that guy out of town. He's trying to cause a debate. Black Lives Matter. The privileges activity followed a textbook passage that students read on communication and the self. Oh, what did I tell you? And the self concept. Dude, yes, this is what I'm saying. A set of relatively stable perceptions that each of us holds about ourselves, including physical features, emotional states, talents, likes, dislikes, values, roles. Yeah, dude. Yes, this is right out of the playbook. Right? It's the same exact thing. W.K. Kellogg Foundation. They're the ones who paid for it at the school. I shut that bugger down. Shut it down. And I'm only saying that because I am proof that you can do it. You can do it. I stopped La Raza from coming to our school. You can do it. You can stop these Jim Crow racist lefties playing Mr. Potato Head with words. They're molesting an otherwise good tradition of being opposed to racism and saying now it means something brand new. And for a huge portion of our population, it means not being yourself, not believing what you believe in your heart to be true. Your faith in your traditions. Stop being a white, heterosexual Christian. It's what it is. Stop it. If you want to be anti-racist, stop being a white person. And if you are a white person, shut up. If you are heterosexual, you need to maybe consider the possibility that really you might be into, the male part. You might be down with people of your own sex. And you might be a bigot if you're not willing to go out with a tranny. It's the only way to stop it. I'm telling you. It's a Trojan horse. Look at the amount of crazy, maniacal, sadomasochistic garbage, intellectual trash that comes in through this. Just think about it. Welcome into the chat room, Cherie. Yes, hello, my friend. Nice to see you there. They talked about people who are attractive, and I'll skip over that. Talking about people who are attractive and how people listen to them more. A little bit. For the same reason that people, look, no offense, but again, and I hate to throw this person under the bus. I know, look, if there's a real 700-pound, bedridden, lesbian, tranny, Eskimo priestess with freckles and red hair, maybe there's one out there, and every time I mention it, they're like, why? I like your show. They're like a listener, and they're like, why do you got to use me as the example? But the thing is, there's a reason if that person, and not just because they're not in the building because they're bedridden and stuff, not just because talking is very labored for them because, the sleep apnea and everything. It's not that. It's deeper than that. It's the same reason why the idea of Trump not having his hair would do very, very badly for him. Very badly for him. It's why Chris Christie has no chance of being a president. And it's why Jeb Bush got up on his tiptoes when he was going against Donald Trump. There's a picture of this at a debate. They're all lined up. You got little Marco. You got Rand over here. Both of them kind of looking a little dwarfish. Okay. And then you've got in the center, you've got the taller guys. You've got Trump and you have Jeb Bush. And Jeb realizes, I'm a little shorter. And he knows the lesson from Saul in the Bible. He knows it. So what does he do? Tippy toes. Little tippies. Little tiptoes. Portland State University professor Bruce Gilley is under fire for hosting a Critiques of BLM reading group. Yeah, academics from around the world have condemned the group as an act of intellectual violence. Bruce Gilley, I like this guy. I'd like to interview him. Calling all American college students, I will be organizing a Critiques of BLM reading group for the fall semester. I really would like to be part of that, actually. I wonder, I'd like to interview him, maybe get some of the reading material and say, look, I'd love to read it. I've got my own list of reading material. But to help you survive the hail of BLM mandates and propaganda. Dude, I like this guy already. Is he tenured? Let's see. The professor said that at first, the group had garnered a major positive reception from around the world. In fact, there are currently 100 enrollees from across the nation. However, it was not long until Gilley began to face a backlash. Oh, no, here it comes. Here it comes. Oh, look at this lady. Professor Dr. Lisa Ann Ritchie. Friends, he's at it again. Critiques of BLM reading group. What? What kind of human would propagate intellectual violence like this? Intellectual violence, man. Have you ever heard of anybody outside of a cult that believes that if there is a group beyond itself that is criticizing the philosophical suppositions of said group, that amounts to violence? You're in a cult. You're an occultist, Professor Dr. Lisa Ann Ritchie. Drinking the Kool-Aid. Watch out. You can kind of tell, though. I mean, look at her picture. You can kind of tell a little bit. Sarah Katz-Levine, chair of sociology of Africa at the University of Bayreuth in Germany, questioned whether Gilley should even remain employed. What'd I say? They're going to label it. They're going to manipulate it. Call it violence. That you're going to question an organization with a platform. Unbelievable. Colonel Autism. There is no anti-racism. There is simply racism. It's what they, yeah, I agree. That's why I had it in quotations. I said it's a Mr. Potato Head word. It's another one of those words. These guys are LARPers, man. It's not academic. It's garbage. They make up these words all the time, and they infuse it. They're all Trojan horses, and then they shoot it out there, and then demand that if you don't accept it, it's because you're a bigot, maybe Hitler, or you're committing violence against me because you don't accept my belief. Messed up, man. Messed up. Portland State University, Jennifer Ruth, who serves as the school's American Association of University Professors Vice President of Grievances and Academic Vice President of Grievances and Academic Freedom. That's weird. She encouraged this idea. I'm a faculty member at Portland State, and simply tolerating him as he builds a base is unacceptable. Simply tolerating him. You know what's weird, man? Do you remember the evolution of this nonsense? There was a time where it was diversity and tolerance. Tolerance, diversity, multiculturalism. It's a cult, man. But do you remember that? You're not very tolerant, man. But then people are clever enough to go, dude, look, tolerance inevitably has a limit. We can expand a circle of empathy, but the idea that we're just tolerant of everything, very few people could stomach that. Jonathan Haidt talks about this. He does, studies that were done where people are asked questions that don't even necessarily involve anything that's actual damage physically. Like a guy, what if you found out that your neighbor was buying chickens and doing naughty things with dead chickens, by the way, right? Dead chickens, not even real ones, dead chickens, and then eating it or whatever. So he's not doing anything to other people. You should see the reactions to this. It's not even something that affects them. And they say, "Oh no, man, no way, that's messed up." Bo Weevil, light him up. Yeah, dude, for real. For real. It's not a joke anymore, man. Is it? It's not a joke. It's another level. I strongly encourage people to sign up. Oh, this is one of those tactics they're using kind of like at the Trump rallies, where you can sign up online and it's all a game. Again, highly organized. Know your enemy, man. Know your enemy. It's the theme of the show. You got to know your enemy. This is what they're doing. Gilley told Campus Reform that the reading group is supposed to point out issues within the movement. Backlash is coming from far-left academics, this is a quote, who think the purpose of education is to force their fanatical ideas on students. Totally, because it's a cult. Go to New Discourses, man. Go to New Discourses. Read those articles. I'm telling you. This is going to go down in Kingdom of the Cults. It's got to. It's got to. And we need to begin talking to them as if they are members of an actual cult. And if a school is involved in this, we need to begin treating them like they're Bob Jones in it. Sorry. Number one, no more aid to you, racist piece of garbage. What was it? There was a group here. what is it, Northwestern? Northwestern, was it Zoom? It was some kind of a big meeting, and they had a bunch of professors there. And whenever these professors would introduce themselves, there's a transcript of this, they would introduce themselves and say they're racist. Rod Dreher over at American Conservative wrote about it. Here's the College Fix. The last article, by the way, was campus reform. College Fix. Here's a guy. You know what? I don't know, man. We're making good time. We're making good time. This guy right here, what's his name, man? Trip Grebe called for better pay for police, better training, and police union reforms in an op-ed for the Badger Herald. That's one of 2 student newspapers at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. He's gone. He's gone. He said this, and it's from the article, and actually this has a link. You can see right there, Grebe wrote in his submission. That link will take you right to it. He said, if we're expecting police officers to be better, why would we be taking away money from them? When schools are failing, we don't defund schools. I mean, and look, I might actually disagree with this guy. I might disagree with him. We give them more money and implement new plans to ensure their success. That is what they do. We could, of course, decentralize that. Just break them up. After he submitted it, he was told by the Herald's opinion editor, Samia Bhushan, via email in late August that although the piece was, quote, well written, that it was, quote, too much of a hot take. Oh, yeah, okay. Too much of a hot take. What are you talking about? Go read it for yourself. Tell me if you think that's hot. Hot potato. Oh, can't do that one. I don't know how people would handle that. A different opinion. You may not know this. We're in a cult. Oh, there, yeah. Upper management of the paper was worried that it could alienate incoming freshmen. Additionally, the email continues, we just posted an editorial board supporting BLM. Oh, bam. That's it. Look at that. Come to find out, it's a hot take, kind of because, we ended up doing this thing about BLM. And another publicly endorsing two candidates who wanted to fund the police. Oh, so you know, okay, I got it. So, yeah, the cult thing. You're like the Watchtower, man. Stop giving this government funds, period. It's the Watchtower. The Jehovah's Witness Watchtower. Awake Magazine. If you don't know, bad. That's how I feel about it. Yeah. It would cause a lot of backlash. You know, we can't really write that right now. Because, see, we endorsed people who disagree with you. Oh, so it's like a political thing, like you're part of the party or something, or what? Yeah, no, it's really just we don't really want diversity of ideas. We kind of want everybody on the same page. We got the memo. Unbelievable. Check out this crazy nonsense. University to remove World War II murals because it shows too many white people. Again. And Cherie says defunding them won't help, talking about the police. More training can't happen with less money. I mean, you probably could. Maybe. You'd have to be like, some volunteer stuff. Maybe some volunteers. But you're making a great point. Students didn't feel comfortable sitting near the murals. By the way, look at this mural. Look at this mural. You can tell, the art, the style. I mean, it really does. It kind of comes out of that era, too. The University of Rhode Island recently announced plans to remove 2 murals depicting World War II veterans. Oh. And by the way, look at that cognitive dissonance floating around in the brain. Because, the World War II vets, those are the foils for Antifa that's always sharing memes acting like they're one of the boys. They act like they're part of the club. They're part of the group, man. Those were the anti-fascists. They went over and fought them in a practically all-white military in an era where you had very strict gender differences and abortion was illegal and all of the things that they use to describe what they say is fascism. That's kind of weird. So do you see how it doesn't matter? They don't actually believe it. It's simply a tool. It's an optic. It's a means to an end. Just like egalitarianism. Political tool. Political tool, man. This World War II veterans, because it lacks diversity. Oh my gosh, do they not even realize? Do they not realize the changes that were made about race in the military during that era and right afterward? God help us. God help us. Kathy Collins, Vice President of Student Affairs, received complaints because the two folk art murals portraying life in the GI Bill era of the 1950s portray a very homogeneous public or population. Homogeneous, sorry. Very homogeneous population. And that most of the people depicted in the mural are predominantly white. At the time, what would the statistics have been? You know, it's like Wild Wild West in this thing, right? making Will Smith the cowboy of the day. What's the show that went back in Britain and it's got all these, you know, black people and other races mixing it up like that's real? I mean, they hate history. Again, Mr. Potato Head, warning, they don't really love anything about history. They will trample on the dead. They dance on the graves. They loathe the democracy of the dead and the wisdom that they've imparted over the years. They loathe them. They regret that they're even connected genetically, lashing themselves with disciplines because they're white. If only I was born black. If only I was born Chinese or something. No, not Chinese. I'm so sorry. That's too close. Too close. Some kind of a BIPOC. Black or indigenous or person of color, even though it's basically the same thing. And of course, what's the whole purpose behind it? Oh, yeah. George Floyd. Are you serious? George Floyd. Fentanyl Floyd. Crack pipe Floyd. Are you serious? Resisting arrest like a crazy lunatic. Saying I can't breathe. Way before he was on the ground. Oh, and Jacob Blake. Oh, yeah. Breonna Taylor. The whole gang is there. The whole gang is there, folks. He painted the murals. Arthur Sherman, a World War II veteran and an alumnus of the university, painted the murals depicting students socializing and traveling on campus in 1953. Student veterans raised the money to create the Memorial Union to honor the military service of students. Sherman also taught at the university. Oh my gosh. These people are seriously Jim Crow, man. It's all, these people are all, they don't even realize it. And that's what's sad. It's really sad because these people are like, we're against racism. And they say the most racist crap in the world. Unbelievable. Campus reform. As institutions of higher education have placed restrictions on in-person student activities, protests on college campuses continued largely unfettered. I wonder what kind of protests. Let's find out. University health guidelines universally stress the need to maintain social distance. Okay, got it so far. Those student protesters can often be seen very close to one another in photos. Okay, well, what are we talking about here? Some of these protests have even attracted the support of high-ranking university officials. Oh, yeah, unsurprising. Look at that. Look at that. Unbelievable. We're going to transition over here. He shouldn't have died that day. Dude, I truly believe, that he died because of what he had done. I mean, look, if you look, for one, crack pipe. People in the car saying he's super bad. He's got lots of problems. And they didn't have a problem. They didn't have any issue with this. He was complaining about being unable to breathe. Now, if you want to say maybe, possibly, right, others could have come in, the people there said, okay, look, let's treat this guy right now. He's obviously dying. He's having an overdose, right now. I believe it's what happened. I believe it's what happened, man. But yeah, I don't dance on the dead. I don't want him dead. I lament the fact that he's dead. I lament the fact that I lament a lot of facts surrounding that. On all sides, okay? By the way, yeah. Mr. Petgrave, do you have a show, by the way? If you do, man, put that link in the comments. Because it says you got a show. Louisville Black Lives Matter rioters smash windows at library, throw flare inside. I'm really glad. Apparently, not a single book was looted. Did they say unsurprising? Who wrote that? Cassandra Fairbanks. Look, Miss Fairbanks. You're like Michelle Malkin. You're like one of my favorite. I absolutely love your Twitter feed. And I cite you all the time. I read you every day. I would love for you to come on the show. I mean it. In fact, if you guys know, if you follow Cassandra Fairbanks, let her know that I talk about her stuff all the time and that she's one of my favorites. Same thing with Michelle Malkin, man. I think that they would enjoy this show, and I think they'd enjoy coming on. I do. I believe that. But yeah, look at this. Somebody threw a flare inside. Uncanny, man. Uncanny. And that's destroying history again. Louisville church opens doors as sanctuary for rioters. Black militants threaten to beat up white people and press if they don't leave. Did you read this one? There's again, Fairbanks. Yeah, man. Come on, girl. A church in Louisville has opened their doors as a sanctuary for rioters because they are exempt from the curfew imposed by the mayor. That's amazing. Oh, so yeah, there's a curfew, but if you're out there and you're protesting and rioting, well, no, you're good. You're good. This is don't you see how this works? How does that make any sense at all? They're godless, man. These are godless, crazy loonbirds that say, oh, law-abiding citizens stay inside. Crazy looter rioter, you're allowed outside. Person out singing hymns outside without a mask, arrest that guy. Rioting and looting, taking over part of a town, you're good, you're good. What about that lady at the football game? Did you see that video of that? A lady at a football game, minding her own beeswax, her and her family. There's nobody around, man. There's you can see the bleachers all the way in front. She's halfway up. You got to envision, let's say there's, 30 rows of bleachers. And she's halfway and there's nobody around. They're definitely social distancing except for their family. And this dude comes up and he's trying to arrest her. And she's like, get your hands off me. I didn't do anything wrong. What did I do? And it had to feel pretty random. Had to feel pretty random, man. And what does dude do? Tases her. Zap, 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 zap. Ah! But if you said the words, Black Lives Matter, they might wonder. Might back off. Petgrave says, remember the art of war. Yeah, man, dude. I'm going to do an off-air video about the book Art of War. In fact, I should make it like a series. And especially the intro, because I think the intro is, I said this on another episode, maybe the first one that I did or second one, talking about how it's instructive for the worldview embraced by the radical activist left in America. But he says, remember the art of war. China and outside sources are trying to destroy America from within. China has been sending heroin for years. Now they're trying to sow disinformation. Totally 100%, by the way. And there is a crazy connection. I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't have the article in front of me, and I try really hard to stick with the facts. Okay, I don't want to get mixed up with things and speculate and all this. I want to have the exact name of the organization. I saw a couple articles talking about a group, a Chinese organization that is connected with, of course, George Soros, obviously, right? I mean, they're like all in this cabal together. And that Black Lives Matter, the national, right? That they are intimately connected with them. But I don't want to go on any more than that, other than just to say, I'll look at it. A leader from the First Unitarian Church It's all I had to hear. A leader from the First Unitarian Church. Gotcha. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah. First Unitarian Church explained to live streamers, and I got friends, I got Unitarian friends. I've spoken there. So I don't want to bust his chops, but this is right up their alley. I mean, you get what you get. Explained to live streamers outside that, quote, houses of worship are exempt from the curfew. It's true. So look, that's cool. And that the church has opened this up as a sanctuary zone where rioters can get legal aid if they need. And look, you can see there's the pastor right there? There's all the press and all the people. It didn't take long, though, before someone said, all you white mother effers, leave. All you white people, get out. One of the thugs that the church aggressively demanded repeatedly, I'll beat your blank. Get the blank out of here. I'll beat your butt. Get the F out of here. Quote, white people have just been threatened with assault and kicked out of the church sanctuary grounds. And you know it's white people in that church, man. You know it. You say, oh, First Unitarian, United Church of Christ. Yeah, dude, you got lots of whiteys. Oh. Not many kids, lots of lesbos. It's just true. Lots of abortions. White people, yeah. So it's just not safe at the moment. Yeah, it's just not safe at the moment. Because that's normal behavior for people. That's how we treat people. There's that, Northwestern faculty. Look at this. Let's see. From Emily Mullen to everyone. My name is Emily Mullen. I'm a racist and a gatekeeper of white supremacy. I will work to do better. Sarah Summervold. Thank you all so much. My name is Sarah Summervold, and I'm a racist. I'll try to do better. James Spetta. I'm Jim Spetta, and I am a racist. Man, dude. Dreher wrote, Professor Spetta is not a racist. He's a wonderful man, universally loved by students. It makes me sad that he's forced to say otherwise. Or manipulated. Just straight manipulated. Again, it is a cult. It's a ritual. Do you not see this? This is as ritualistic as the creed before baptism. Man, it's a satanic baptism. It's a Jim Crow baptism. The new Jim Crow, I'm telling you. They asked about it, College Fix. Reached out to professors in the screenshots. The law school dean. Northwestern's media relations offices numerous times. No one's talking. Of course not. Because it's a mystery cult. It's a mystery cult. Black privilege is real. Professor under fire. Wow. Protest hits his home. Students demand that he's fired. Charles Nagy, an associate professor of psychology at University of Central Florida, tweeted about black privilege is facing an aggressive campaign to get him terminated because of some tweets. Apparently, protesters, oh, imagine that. Bet it was that Sunrise Club, Sunrise Movement. Some kids involved with that they said, oh, you know what? I got an idea. I learned it from Sunrise. Cars drove by with a megaphone shouting, Black Lives Matter. And Nagy must resign while blowing their horns nonstop. That went on for 30 minutes. That's not protesting. That's bullying, harassment, and intimidation. Yes, dude. This is the same anti-bully crowd. Don't you see? Those ethics are for you, but not for me. Don't you see it? I know you do. You're smart. You're watching the show. You're listening. Petgrave wants to know, how can we bring people together? Do you think we'll have a major conflict first? My next show, Monday's show, man, I promise. That's what it'll be about. Because I'm not just a negative guy. I've actually complained before. I've kind of complained about how, I feel like so much of what I say and do is wrapped up in current events and these hot takes all the time. I mean, the world's on fire. There's no doubt about it, but if you just say, look, fire, bull, crazy, and you don't say, look, man, how can we put this thing out? I think it's going to require taking tough stands that are going to get you labeled for a time as the worst possible things in the world. And you may end up getting punished for it. People will lose jobs. Because if you think about it, that's an incremental step towards crazy town civil war. So let's say instead of just going major conflict, which we're already seeing mass violence against people. We're already seeing it. We're seeing mass violence on a scale that this country in modern times we've never seen. Not like this. And the thing is that at least in the past, there was a debate to be engaged, and there were reasonable people on the other side. You don't have that anymore. You don't have that anymore. Look at this. What's the guy's name? Yeah, because they wanted to be required of students. Has to be taught again. It's indoctrination. So you're not dealing with like a system that is like one of many systems. And that they say, okay, there's an arena wherein we can debate. And they believe it very firmly. And they hope more people do. But it's not accompanied with the idea that if you disagree, that you're Satan. Oh, I'm so sorry. They don't even believe in that anymore. You're just Hitler. You're just Hitler. And that's only because they got bored of calling you the xenophobic, sexist, homophobic, ageist, transphobic, all the obics put together into a megazord called Hitler. It's what it is. It's what it is. Sorry about that. Just got really good news. By the way, real quick, PSA, before we move on. PSA to say, look, you got to go over to Holy Faith TV 1 on YouTube, as well as Catholic Media over on Facebook, because what you'll find there is a video that my voice is doing what's called hard news, okay? So I'm doing broadcast journalism. We're taking stories. We took a LifeSite News one about Archbishop Vigano and about his remarks about the New World Order. It's a very, very, very good piece. Okay. I'll save this one because this is what it's gonna be. This is what we have to talk about. About how do you deal with it? What are different techniques? And this is one of them. Cancel culture mob targeted these three professors. They all agree on one thing: do not cave. And that's not ordinarily. Normally, in the Christian world, kind of the tail end of it all, right? Where we live now in kind of this like post-Christian thing. So we live in a post-Christian world. And the living in that, we no longer have a social, a kind of social gospel. For all of its faults, it's kind of like the mainstream media. For all of its faults, it played a function, right? One that kept people, that we could all kind of join into a public narrative in a way. Even though it didn't fully embrace everybody, and, you know, not everybody was wrapped up in it and identified with it. By and large, if you took the, you know, bell curve, there was a lot of that. But back when prior to our post-Christian era that we're in now, if somebody did something wrong, and let's say that it was a legitimate thing. Well, for one, we've already covered the idea that in that world, if you debated, you were expected to come up with some kind of evidence. You had a burden of proof. There was an arena wherein this would happen. Structured, organized debate based on reasoning, logic, debating paradigms, presuppositions, whatever. Didn't matter. The idea was you're exchanging these things and quantitatively analyzing the truth of, well, is what I'm saying true or not? And nowadays, it's just, that's toast. You don't debate anymore. We shut you down, Buster. People would, back then, they knew what it meant to turn the channel. They knew what it meant to say, okay, so if the KKK shows up in your town and there's like 4 of them, you know, there's like 4 of them buggers out there, and they're like, you know, the only guy still buying Skoal at the gas station up the road. You're like, I think I saw that guy. Isn't he the guy that buys Skoal all the time? You know, but the thing is that if they showed up in town, the ACLU would still say, look, these people have a right to free speech. And that if we don't allow that, that's actually going to radicalize, and it's going to bring numbers. There's a martyrdom thing going on with this. They would defend it. That's gone. People should watch the movie Collision. Collision's the movie. No, not Collision. What is it called, man? It's the one about free speech with oh my gosh, what's his name? Douglas Wilson. You know, people can disagree over Douglas Wilson and stuff. I like his writing. I like a number of his books. I did a video about the future of masculinity in men, future men. Good stories, by the way, about my kids. You can find all that at youtube.com/PALEOCRAT. And we'll get that actually back up real quick. Let's see. Do this for a second. But they agree. They say, look, you can't do it. And the thing is that this Christian world, if somebody did something wrong and an individual said, look, I think that person, you know, I don't want to pay money to that person anymore. I don't feel like I should support that person anymore. The idea was still that you don't kick a man when he's down. Nowadays, not only you kick that man when he's down, but everybody else does too. And if you don't, everybody's looking at you going, hey, bro, why aren't you kicking that guy? He's down, don't you see? It's a totally different world. It's inverted completely. It's satanic. It's Antichrist, man. Well, that's what you get. You take away Jesus, and that's what you get. That's what you get. We'll save that one. Man, I had an article. Where in the heck did that article go? There's an article that basically there's a group that was supposed to be bringing up all of these different studies, right? And so there was going to be a whole bunch of studies done, and these studies were going to no. So these studies were supposed to. Here we go, right here. Let's go ahead and transition that back. Actually, we'll go back to the news. I got a whole bunch of these screens now. I'm really happy. I like that. So, Ibram Kendi's Antiracism Campus Center banked big donations, put out very little in academic research. This is a report according to the College Fix staff. Hundreds of thousands of dollars donated over the years in grants and other sources to America University's Anti-Racist Research and Policy Center, founded by Professor Ibram Kendi. Guy's a full-blown racist, by the way. Full-blown racist. What academic research did all this support produce? Very little, according to the Washington Free Beacon. The Beacon cites a $50,000 grant from the Ford Foundation, that's a lot of money, to develop a racial reporting guidebook, and that has not materialized. The center also touted a fall 2019 symposium on racial reporting that never took place. Well, that's weird. A fall 2019 symposium on racial reporting never happened. It's just money, no biggie. The article also flags a $200,000 Ford Foundation grant for a national anti-bigotry project, which only exists entirely on paper. Other projects that Kendi promised, policy teams, the world's largest library of data on racial inequality, and classes for American university students, did not come to fruition before his departure this summer. He's now with the new Center for Anti-Racist Research at Boston University. Do you not see how he's milking these people? They don't care. By the way, Ford Foundation, what a bunch of losers, man. Still, Kendi's lack of research output proved little obstacle to fundraising, citing donations such as the $250,000 one from Ford Foundation, $300,000 from the Marguerite Casey Foundation, $150,000. Oh, look at that. George Soros' Open Society Foundation. I knew you'd see him. It's like the whole New World Order gang all right there. Look at that. Oh, look at this. $150,000 from the Gates Foundation. This guy's totally New World Order. Do you not see this? Open your eyes. I know you guys do. I'm preaching to the choir. Tell your friends. Share this around. Share this video, man. If you haven't shared this video, I want to thank, by the way, I want to thank my boy for doing that. Mr. Petgrave. He shared it. He shared it. Leaving AU behind, Kendi's now set up shop at Boston University. Oh, his new center received a $10 million, no strings attached. Those are obviously his favorite ones. Obviously his favorite. All right. Now, I'm going to put up the... No, I don't want to put up the camera. I'm just going to do this. Watch this. Because we're coming down to the end. And I decided, I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and leave... I'm going to leave a little bit of this up. Let's see if we can do a window capture of this. Hold on. Let's see. Window capture. How would I do that? Okay. Oh, yeah, I can't do that. Man, that's a bummer. So, okay. Oh, I can do it a little bit. All right. Yeah, we can see here. Let's go to the news. Here, I'm trying to get it because I want some of that off the screen so that we can see more of the screen. Oh, look at that, man. Okay. We got it. I'm on the ball. I got it. So we're going to start again. I like the breakdown, crazy wackos. I don't know where that even came from. Like where that particular category, right? Crazy wackos. Okay. And yes, Brian, 100% harassment and bullying. No doubt about it when we're talking about what's going on with professors and with students. He goes on, Brian says, we're told to be afraid of people because of COVID, but when we do so, we're labeled as racist. Yeah. Totally agree. All right. Crazy wackos. Who's this? Look at her face. You can kind of tell already that she's going to be a wacko. Can you tell that when you look at somebody? Can you just go, you look like you're a real loon bird? She looks like it. Let's see, what does she say? If Trump tries to appoint someone, it's civil war, and I'll be on the front line. Yeah, you would die. I'm going on the front line. Oh, you are? You're going to be a frontline person. Okay. Look at her. You would get popped so quick, lady. Everybody would be targeting you. They'd be like, oh, her? Isn't she the one that tweeted that dumb crap about being on the front line? Oh. We're coming for the country people next. Antifa. Oh, wow. Yeah, bad idea. Isn't it true, though? When you guys hear about this and you see these people out there with, cardboard boxes, little swords and stuff out there, and Nerf shields and everything, and these ridiculous looking outfits, and they're constantly getting owned left and right. There was a mosh pit recently. I saw an ant of a mosh pit that was the dumbest looking thing I'd ever seen. And I like mosh pits. But I mean, that was just stupid. Cherie says, years of working in retail, yes, I can tell crazy when I see it. Ooh, a Christian resistance. Okay, what's this one? The unborn are a convenient group of people to advocate for. All right. They never make demands of you. They are morally uncomplicated, unlike the incarcerated, addicted, and chronically poor. Right? Okay. They don't resent your condescension or complain that you are not politically correct. Oh, I don't know what that is. Like, is it these red herrings or what? What's up with? Oh, this is a lot. They don't ask you to question the patriarchy. Unlike aliens, they don't bring all that racial, cultural, and religious baggage that you dislike. They allow you to feel good about yourself. It's almost as if by being born, they died to you. Talking about kids. Look, I can agree with that to an extent. I believe that we should. I'm not the kind of person that goes, look, I'm anti-abortion. I'm pro-life. I believe that there's a difference, and a lot of the people that I know who identify as pro-life would be more adequately described as anti-abortion. I believe those are two different things, by the way. I'm not going to read through all that. Pastor Dave Barnhart. Challenging your own wealth, power, or privilege without reimagining. So it's just, you hear all those code words? Bleep, bloop, blop, bleep, bloop. Robot boy. Let him know I talked about him. Pastor Dave Barnhart. Yes. I pray to the Lord that this lady right here is going to be our next Supreme Court Justice. Silence, pagan. Yeah. Here's Maria Bach. Okay. I saw a child wearing a Trump 2020 mask at school today, and I wanted to literally burn. What? Executive team lead at Human Resources, North Dakota State University. Whoa. Somebody call the cops. This person is a crazy lead Human Resources, man. She's like a Durka person. Look at that. All terroristy and stuff. Dear police, we know you're not all bad, but as you love to say to us, you fit the description. Yeah, but if you think that that's bad, why would you do that to them? I mean, don't you see this logic? This logic is like playground stuff. Maybe they can't really think much deeper than that. I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but it kind of seems like, yeah, well, you punched me, I punch you. Again, post-Christian world. Post-Christian, you need Jesus. You need to take the knee for the Lord. Pray for the repose, not like this guy. That's the Grand Rapids police chief, man. Get off your knee, man. Get off your knee. And look at Aaron Parsagian, Fox 17. Oh, this is for Breonna Taylor. He's on his knee. He was one of those crazy people that was chanting, I can't breathe. I can't breathe for like 8-9 minutes straight on a live stream. I'm in the live stream just saying, look, you're in a cult. I pray to God that you figure out how to get out. Don't allow these people to own you. It reminds me, there's a movie, I think it's actually Jeremiah Films that did it, about cults. And in there, might be Kingdom of the Cults, I don't know. But they talk about Kundalini cults and stuff, and the people that jump up and down and do these mantras, and they're just blah, blah, and then they get all cathartic and stuff. That's what this is. That's what this is. These are Kundalini people. NBC News. Transgender children may start to identify with toys and clothes typical of their gender identity from a very young age. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Emily Jewell, I'm adding myself to the growing list of women who are revealing being a tomboy as a child. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Emmy Jewel. Leave kids alone. To think that my former 10-year-old self would today be labeled as a trans child is terrifying. Yes, because they would cut your breasts off. And they'd want to make a winky doodle for you. If you were a boy, they would remove the winky doodle. And then slice it up like old Jazz. Maybe can't ever enjoy sexual gratification ever now. Mr. Potato Head with the crotch. Doesn't work. Not good. Suicide rates still through the roof. Because it's there. It's there. In the heart, mind, and soul. Period. Why are you so upset over this? It's literally just a piece of fabric. I saw a lot of people talking that way recently. It's just a piece of fabric. Plus, it's protected by freedom of expression. OMG, OMG. I'm like literally having a blank panic attack. This is literally violence. You're a monster. Just a piece of fabric, bro. Just a piece of fabric. It's protected speech, man. Parenting. We didn't assign a gender to our kid. Yeah, that kid is messed up. You people, look at them, man. Look at this guy. Look at his dark socks. Look at his dark socks. This guy just looks like he's got all sorts of trouble going on. That guy back there, that Chad back there, looks like he's got it going on. He's doing good. He's got a couple, yeah, that guy in the back with the ripped muscles and stuff. He's looking at these folks and being like, oh yeah, black sock man? No. Probably has one of those gender neutral kids. He doesn't even know. He's like, I knew it. What's this? Oh, this is that, Magus. Talking about 5 reasons we need Black Breastfeeding Week. And look, I support breastfeeding. I support it. Because black women and Magus said so. Because Magus won it. What does it mean? What does that mean? They should be able to. There are barriers and trauma that ensure we do not even get a chance to try. What the heck? Oh, it's like dudes that are like identifying as the... My daughter did that. My firstborn, she latched on to me. That's like that whole Peter Griffith. Yeah, Peter from the Family Guy. Sitting there doing the thing, and Stewie starts sucking on. There's a hair in his mouth. And it's like, bro. Yeah, but there's a percentage of people that can elect her. Just let him try it. Come on. Let him have his piece over there. No, dude. Keep your nipple out of that baby's mouth, brah. You sick person. What is this? Oh, yeah, okay. It's one of those, like, which way kind of things. Oh, come on. Yeah. Fart loading now. Constant loading for this lady. You can tell. Even the way she's holding her hips, you can tell it's a lot of pressure there. Okay, let's see. My blank has had it up to here. Okay, this was actually sent to me. I tell people, send me memes, man. I love them. You can send them. You can find me at, of course, the email, PALEOCRATDiaries@gmail.com. You can also send them to me over at on Twitter. And if you send them to me, this is a buddy. His name's Andy. He's from an old friend of mine years ago. We haven't talked in a long time. So I was really excited, actually, when he shared this. I'm like, dude, yes, okay. You've seen the show then. Okay, good. And I told him, I said, I'll share this, man. Because, yeah, my butt has had it up to here with this coronavirus. Oh, my gosh, man. That's wicked bad. Look at that. Business in the front, small gatherings of up to 6 people from no more than 2 households in the back. Okay. weed cough, COVID cough, wildfire cough, everyone out west. Dude, are you scared a little bit to cough, by the way? Are any of you a little bit scared? Like if you're in public and you got a little bit of an itchy throat, or you've got, you got something going on. Because I'm doing a lot of talking. Over 24 hours of live productions, like talking into microphones in the last 3 weeks or so. That's a lot. And I'm going off the handle, and so I'm like, my throat's doing a little bit, kind of like that, man. I coughed at church. I didn't do the Joe Biden where he coughs in his hand. He did that recently on one of his breathing fits where he really struggling, Corona Joe. But I was nervous. I'm like doing lots of swallows and trying to swallow because I'm like, dude, I don't want anybody to think I got the old Corona Joe thing going on. I can't even imagine California. Amish apple fritter bread. Who did this? See, I'm doing the carnivore diet right now. I'm on it has to be like week 3. Fitting into shirts a lot better. Super pumped. But I'm getting to that point where my pants are starting to do the saggy thing. And so I gotta tighten the belt. And yet it's kind of poofy and everything. It's a terrible thing. But I'm happy to be losing the weight. But then I see this Amish apple fritter. I struggled today wanting to eat a piece of cake, but your body's in ketosis. You eat that cake, you're toast. Then you got to get back into it, and you're going to be Sleepy Town. You're going to be like Sleepy Joe. But man, Amish apple fritter bread, 3rd cup. Screenshot that. Anybody who wants that, because that just, look, oh my gosh, look at that. I could just sit here. I could just sit here right now. Oh, man. Brian in the comments says, all of my kids have tried to latch onto me. Yeah. Now, do you do the skin on skin? Is that, or was it like through the shirt? Cherie says, unless you're breastfeeding a boy, then you are raising a sexist. I've seen that before. And they scream because your nips are useless. Not just useless, dude, but like I've got that kind of hair where it's wispy and stuff. Looks like Daddy Longlegs died underneath my nipples and stuff. And it's just not cool. Like I can't even imagine what that would be like for a child. I mean, it's not right. Very wrong. Yeah, afraid to cough, sneeze, anything. Definitely. No, we are not talking. I am uncomfortable with clowns. I'm uncomfortable with a lot of things. There's a whole bunch of things that I'm just like, I know, no. Nope. I've talked about it on Paleo Cheese, which, by the way, an upcoming episode, the next couple episodes of Paleo Cheese, you're going to love them, by the way. But clowns, no way. Why do people say tuna fish when they don't say beef mammal? Or chicken bird? Why do we say that? What's up with that? Why do we say tuna fish? This is my family. Okay. That's my Aunt Celia. Sunday afternoon at Grandma's playing a game on their phones. Is it everybody playing the same game? Is that everybody playing the exact same game, or are they all playing different games? That's terrible, though. Unless they're playing the same game, then it's cool. Then it's cool. Oh yeah, dude, there's one of these in our town, right up the road. We have some pretty big mansions not far up the road. We're like in this cool zone where we're really close to. Well, we're kind of in between the crazy town, bad red zone district, right, and the fortified mansions. We're 2 blocks in either direction, but we have a very beautiful area that we live in. And right up the road in East Grand Rapids, that's the birthplace of Gerald Ford. And a lot of other extremely wealthy people. They have one of these things in front of one of the mansions. Huge. Today's COVID numbers are... yeah. Just making crap up. Happy 6-month anniversary to 14 days to flat... Do you remember that, by the way? 14 days, man. We're going to flatten that curve. And then all of it's going back. No. I saw this. You have to actually be able to see it for a minute. Maybe you can take a screenshot with your phone, and then you can crop it out. The idea is look for the number 0. It took me a long time. I finally figured it out. When the entire planet is going through a collective dark night of the soul, but you've already been through several. You're that guy. Yeah. Yeah. People are like, why are you laughing so much? I've been through some junk, dude. I've been through some wicked junk. I can't believe it's almost October. Time flies when you're stuck at home, broke, drunk, and full of existential dread. It does. It feels like this whole year is just gone. It's just like, oh, well, we delete it. But a lot of really cool stuff happened, I'm not going to lie. Me trying to put $20 on pump 3, customer playing the lottery. Yeah, man. Oh, that is like, dude, that, honestly, that's one of the things I hate maybe the most. If I had to sit there, and say like, obviously child trafficking, beating up autistic children, and customers playing the lottery when I'm trying to get out of the gas station. Pretty quick. I'm just like, bro, and they're like, I'm looking numbers. I'm like, dude, no. Mark John, this is cool. This guy does lowriders. He's a friend of mine. I have a video on PALEOCRAT YouTube channel where that might even be the same truck. And it's painted now. And it's got, yeah, dude, it's beautiful, man. Just amazing. Look at that thing. But he's the one, pray for him and his family. There were 3 members of the family that were in an accident. Pretty bad. Louisiana police officer crashes after owl flies into patrol. What? What would you do? What would you do in that situation? I've been driving and an owl hit the front of my windshield. All right, I'm out in the middle of the sticks, driving at 2 a.m, coming back from a girlfriend's house or something, driving, and blam. All right, I don't think the thing died. I don't, got out looking for it. I didn't see it. It looked like it kind of flew off. But what would you do if it flew in the window? Unbelievable. Dude, definitely crash. I mean, started pecking at him. Look at that thing's face. Owl from Louisiana, and I'll do it again. Oh, man. Dude, that's awesome. That's like a new hero, man. That's like that's we love owls anyway. I've got a tattoo of an owl. Let's see if I can get. Yeah, I'll have to show you. I'll share a picture sometime. Let's see here. I'll skip a bunch of these. If they're too serious. I don't want to talk about serious ones anymore. Goats are like mushrooms because if you shoot a duck, I'm scared of toasters. Joe Biden. Look at his face. Doesn't he just look like he's too old to do anything? I think he does. I'll just say it. Okay, right here. Vanilla Ice. Remember when you told America if there was a problem, you'd solve it? It's time to make good. In fairness, he also told us to stop, collaborate, and listen. That is clever. And I'm not sure we're holding up our end of the bargain either. All right. Very, very, very good. I appreciate all of you. I had a really great time today. I'm really glad I did this. I'm bummed that I missed the mega party. Okay, the quarterly with my boys. Super proud of those fellas. But the thing is that a lot went on. And I'm really grateful for one of my brothers that sat there and said, family and faith first, man. Your kid's getting baptized. It's a kid's birthday. You got stuff you got to do. You got to take care of business. Taking care of business, you can help me take care of business by going to PALEOCRATDiaries.com. That's where we share I shared actually some pictures of my son, as well as videos from within the church of St. Wolfgang that has the high altar, and you'll see the paintings. Absolutely, just amazing church, amazing paintings. Regardless of where you are and anything else, you might say, well, I'm not a Catholic, but you'll love the art. It's gorgeous. Shared that, PALEOCRATDiaries.com. You can learn more, of course, about connecting with me for interviews and speeches, maybe even debates. I got a debate coming up on the 9th of October. I'll be debating Timothy Flanders over whether or not Catholics should vote for Donald Trump. I am a definite yes on that. I'm basically in the engine pulling the toot toot on the Trump train. So I'm there, or I'm in the caboose rocking that party, because definitely love Donald Trump. So, but if you'd like to have any other inquiries as well, I had a couple great emails this week. In fact, even a number of really great posts on social media. People contacted me on Twitter, and I won't get in debates and discussions there, but I will respond. I'm not going to ignore you. And so I really had a great time, and I eventually connected with people in emails. We may even be collaborating on guests and roundtable discussions and things like this. And it was really awesome. So if you'd like to connect with me, PALEOCRATDiaries@gmail.com. You can find me at PALEOCRAT on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and of course all my work over at the Paleo Cheese Podcast with co-host Chad Lutsky. We work together on the show, and it's taken a big turn. So now we're talking about just everyday life things, and it is awesome. We have so much fun. The last one we debated about board games and role play games, and you're not going to want to miss it. It is hilarious. It's hilarious. The whole thing. And we talked about Rolling Stone's top 500. We didn't go, of course, all through all of them, but we did go through the top 25 and what we thought was legit and not legit. And I especially a fan of number 6. So you can check out Paleo Cheese Podcast and, of course, Meaning of Catholic. So I am grateful. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Last thing, this is a huge announcement, and it should be at the bottom of the screen on the previous screen with the ticker, is that now this show will broadcast Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 10 to noon. And the reason why is because my demographic is a bunch of these basically late 20s to early 50s. And those people, they ain't up. I mean, some of them are, but if they're up at 10 o'clock, they ain't sitting there saying, well, I want to listen to a talk show about politics and culture and memes and stuff. They get that done earlier in the day. Plus, I want to drive that news. I want to be one of those guys saying, look, man, I want to be one of the people that says, I'm putting that news out there. I'm one of the first in the morning to do it. You guys share it like a crazy army of freaks and geeks for this show. And so make sure, spread the news. And remember, and I'll share it, of course, man. It's going to go on PaleocratDiaries.com and Twitter and everywhere else. Make sure 10 to noon, not 10 to midnight, 10 to noon from now on, beginning this Monday. So until next time, never give up. Keep on smiling. And memento mori. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off.
The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge. Maybe a funeral procession.